Hey and welcome. I wanted to make a little Q&A video. I know I mentioned this on my Instagram post, and I just like talking with you guys, and talking in 15-second increments on Instagram is not really the most convenient way to do this, so I figure I might as well make a video to answer some of your questions and to get to know me a little more and to kind of just hang out. So I'm just going to get right into it. I have a list of questions on my phone. And the first one is about food, and I sometimes post about random things I'm cooking. I do eat gluten-free. I am allergic to gluten. And I also have to cook without onions and garlic because I have a very high sensitivity to those foods, and I get a lot of uncomfortable symptoms when I eat them. So I've pretty much mastered the gluten-free recipes to feed myself, to try to incorporate as many things as I can, as healthy as I can. Anyways, a good question I thought was, do you prefer to plan out or prep your meals or cook on the fly? Now, when it comes to meal prepping, I've done that, and it's very convenient, and especially if you're on the go all the time and you have a meal already planned out, it's already there, you just grab it and go. So you're guaranteed to eat healthy, you're guaranteed to eat the meal that you planned for yourself. The only thing I prefer not to do about meal prepping is I love the weekends, and I love having Sundays to do nothing. And ideally, when you meal prep, you usually meal prep on a Sunday or on the weekend so that you have those meals prepared for you during the week. I don't prefer to do that. You don't have to do it on a Sunday, but typically that's what a meal plan is, so that you can prepare it for the whole entire week ahead. Another thing about me, this is just my opinion, I hate leftover food. Like, I like fresh, warm, cooked food every day. Like, I don't really prefer, there's only certain meals I make that I eat as leftovers, and I know that's crazy, but it's just a thing. So I personally know I don't meal prep. I have in the past. When I was really in the gym, I was a college student, I was on the go, I wanted to be eating healthy and not just what was conveniently right in front of my face. So for me, I just keep a lot of fruits and vegetables in the house. I have a lot of time to be home, so I'm lucky enough to be able to just cook whatever I want, whenever I want. Now, for most people, that's not the case. So meal planning is a great way to make sure you get all the good foods that you want to be incorporating into your day, and it's convenient. So that's that answer, I guess. And so widening your meal plans, like, how can you do that? Honestly, I'm not the person to ask that question to because I don't meal prep. However, there are plenty of online resources for that. YouTube is my favorite friend. It's the best search engine ever. You can learn absolutely anything on YouTube. So head over to another channel for more meal prepping, because that is not my specialty. All right, let me get to another question here. How are you so calm and self-confident in everything you do? And when people piss you off, how do you hold your anger in? That's a really good question, and thank you. Self-confidence. Honestly, I just do me. I've always been that way, and it's kind of made me stick out like a sore thumb because I don't like fitting in. It's never been a thing for me, so it's come pretty easy to just be myself, and I just do what feels good for me. So, like my yoga practice, I do that for myself to feel good in my body and to move every day. Like, my motto is to move your body every single day. And the reason for that is it's so important to get your blood circulating through your body all the time. It's how you get good oxygen through your body. It's just so good for you. So even if I'm feeling lazy or I don't have as much energy one day, all I do is roll out my mat, even if I'm just sitting there for 5 minutes and just stretching out my arms and my legs. It feels so good, and then I get into a rhythm of, wow, this actually feels good. I want to continue with this, and I want to get into a flow. All of my yoga is just organic movement. It's not planned out. I just kind of put on music and go with it, I guess. And when people make me mad, this has been something I am working on really hard, and it's an everyday thing for me because I'm such a control freak, and I know this isn't news to a lot of you. Not in like a mean, nasty way, like, no, but I like having things planned out. I like having an escape route, and that's like a deep-seated thing that has been tagging along in my life for quite some time now, and I'm working on that. So when people get me mad, I'm trying really hard not to emotionally react, because when you do that, you hurt other people around you. You say things that you might mean but come out too nasty, or things you don't mean at all, and you just want to stab somebody in that certain spot because it will make them mad. You don't get anything from doing that other than more problems or more things you have to resolve in the end. So when it comes to getting super angry, I separate myself. So I'll go into another room and just busybody start cleaning or fold my laundry or do something to get my mind off of it and to bring me back to right now. Because when you're here right now, right here, nothing can really affect you, nothing can bother you, and it's your choice. So you can allow somebody to say something and let it trigger you and get super mad and emotional or mad or why would they say that? But in reality, you're the one reacting, not them. Your reaction to that is your choice. So when people do things that make me mad, I take a deep breath and let it out and say, okay, how can I go about this in a way that's not going to ruin my day, right? Because somebody else says something, maybe they're having a bad day, or maybe they're going through something that they just kind of reflect off and put on you. And it happens to the best of us, right? We all do this. But the best way to kind of center yourself is to just be here now and put up something on your mirror or in your room, something that reminds you to come back to right now. Because when you're here right now, you're just chilling, you're hanging out, you're doing you, and you're just get involved in something that keeps you busy. Like for me, that's yoga or going to dance in my living room. Make yourself a music playlist that makes you happy. So there's certain songs out there that will just make you bawl your eyes out. But then there's certain music you can put on that's like, let's dance. And that just changes everything. So find something that you enjoy to make you happy. What makes you happy? What can you just lose time doing? What just sets that off for you? You have to do that. That's been what's worked for me anyways. And so when people do things that make me really mad, I'm like, yeah, all right. I can sit here and let this really piss me off and ruin multiple minutes to hours of my time. Just why would they say that? Why would they do this? It's not worth it. It's just not. And I've learned in the past, when you emotionally react to things, it's usually not going to be a good ending. It usually doesn't ever work in the way you want it to, other than just getting it out of your system. So find something else that can get that release, that can make you like, okay, here I am now, this is what I need to do. That's my best advice for that. How do I stay calm in those situations? Like I said, finding something that brings me back to right now. So anything, it can be anything. Go outside and look at the sky. Listen to your surroundings. Take a couple cycles of really deep breaths and just bring yourself back to right now and find things to be grateful for. That usually helps a lot. All right, so another question I got was, Do you ever have moments of self-doubt or insecurity? And if so, how do you deal? Well, yeah, I get that a lot. I deal with a lot of anxiety and just finding myself dwelling over the future, which sounds totally crazy when I say that out loud, but most people will look in their past or look into their future and be like, why is this happening? What if this happens? Why did that happen? And we spend so much time in the future or in the past that we're not here now. And it all comes back to being here now. I swear, this has been like a life lesson for me, especially the past like 2 weeks, like really trying to just be here now. So feeling insecure, yeah, I'm a human and I definitely feel insecure sometimes, and I usually find that mostly happens when I haven't spent time with myself or I haven't done the things that I typically do to feel good in my own body. Like, when was the last time you've done something for yourself? I mean, you don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money and go get your nails done and your hair did, but I mean, really, like, when was the last time you did something for yourself? Like, go take a bath or go for a walk, be with yourself. Like, we feel so connected being on Instagram, being on Facebook, being on all these social media platforms, and it feels like you're so connected with these people. And it's kind of like a false communication. It's a false connection. It's not like you're actually hanging out with these people. And we spend so much time scrolling and scrolling that we don't even realize how much time is passing. So I like thinking that if I can sit here and be on my phone for this amount of time, I can be doing something else for that amount of time. So I always check in and remind myself, like, okay, if I'm feeling off or if I'm feeling insecure, what can I do right now to boost my own self-confidence? I'm a dancer. I love dancing. Like, that is my go-to when I'm sad, when I'm mad, when I'm just feeling all sorts of ways. I go dance. So for me, it's putting on a playlist and just having a dance party in my living room. And nobody's watching, right? So just go for it. Just do it. You could go for a run, you can go for a walk. If you're not a super exerciser like that, you can go on a little hike, go trail walking, go to the beach. I mean, I live on an island, so it's easy for me to have access to those types of things, but go somewhere that is just inspiring. Go somewhere beautiful. Go get out of the space you're in now, pretty much. So if you're in your house or you're in your car, you're somewhere where you're just like, ugh, and you're dwelling and you're just eating at yourself, right? You're perfect the way you are. There's nothing to change. Like, you're you for a reason. You are here for a reason. You shouldn't want to change that. I mean, you can do things to be healthier. You can do things to give yourself more energy, but it should never be a negative experience. It should always be, what can I do to feel better? Not what can I do to like feel worse and then kind of think I look or feel better. No, it's do something that makes you feel absolutely awesome. So my go-to, obviously, is my yoga. I go walking. I'm not a big runner. I guess I don't know. It's not really my thing. So I go walking a lot. Speed walking is my go-to. Going to the beach is also a super awesome thing if you have access to that, or a lake, or a trail walk, or even a sidewalk. I mean, really, anything that gets you into nature. And sometimes if I'm feeling really down, I won't bring my phone, or I'll have my phone in my pocket turned off. So I'm not even listening to music, so that I can really be there and I can really observe where I'm at, what I'm doing, what do I hear, what do I see, and just be grateful for the fact that you can even walk, right? Like, a lot of people can't even do that. So it's just finding gratitude. And if it's really a down moment for you, if you really feel like you're like, oh, I just I can't get out of bed, I have no energy. Start small. So there's like plenty of studies out on the Google web of cleaning and how cleaning a little section of your bedroom, your living room, any room, even just starting really small, it really boosts all the motivation. And it's so much better for your body and your mind to be in a clear space so that you can start processing everything else. So even if you're just like, wow, stuck completely in a rut, you can't move forward, just go find something to clean. Crazy, but it really seriously works. And that allows you to think more clearly, and it makes you feel better, and it makes the energy of that room so much better. You can burn candles, incense. If it's warm enough, open a couple windows, just getting fresh air, or opening the curtains to see the sunshine, right? So in the winter, I feel like the sun, really makes me feel kind of down. Like, I guess this would be the perfect thing, is like, me in the winter, I really have to work for getting outside. Like, my motivation does not just come in these everyday, so much motivation. That's not the case at all, because the sun is my motivation. If it's a nice day, I immediately feel like I need to go outside and go enjoy it, right? So in the winter, when it's nasty and cold and snowy and rainy, it's like, yeah, the motivation's not there. So I have to work extra hard to get myself up and moving and going. And I guess the best thing I do that really does help is opening the curtains and just maybe going outside, or even going on a drive and having the window cracked a little bit with like 5 jackets on. It's all good. It really does help. So maybe change your atmosphere if you're feeling like you're in a certain situation that is just, you don't feel good in that atmosphere and you're like, ugh, I totally don't want to be here. I'm right there with you. This happens to me more times than not, where I find myself hanging out with people or going to certain events and I just have zero desire to be there. But now I'm trying to change my mindset, right? Because that's making me more closed in. And in reality, like, I need to be doing those things and hanging out with those people. So I am trying to find enjoyment in every single moment that I'm experiencing. And that's been like something huge I've been working on for myself for 2018, is to just get out there and do these things that you don't normally do, because they're a teeny bit outside of your comfort zone. So that means going out on the weekends. I never go out, ever. When I do go out, people are like, whoa, Kylie, hey, what's up? How have you been? Haven't seen you in a long time. I'll be like, yeah, so I've just been, hanging out at home all winter. You gotta get out, you gotta go do things, you have to get involved, you have to just do those things to feel good. And that, my friends, is how you start to feel better. Just surround yourself with people who care. And surround yourself with people who will genuinely listen to you if you have issues going on. That's like, if you're gonna hang out with somebody and they don't pay any attention, they're on their phone, or they're just trying to talk right over you, to try to one-up you, that doesn't feel good. So maybe change the people you're with, or accompany your mom or dad or sister or a brother or a best friend to go do errands. Just get yourself out of that situation so that you can start to realize, oh, I'm in a funk. What can I do to get out of it? Maybe this will help. Maybe that will help. But my number one thing of the insecurity and self-doubt is to get myself out of my thinking process, get myself out of my comfort zone, and to go do something to make me not continue to think about the same thing over and over. So the last and final thing I am probably going to be talking about in this Q&A video is self-care. And I get a lot of questions about what I do to have a self-care routine, how I started my self-care routine, and how to go about a self-care routine that doesn't feel selfish. So many of us are so consumed with helping everybody else in our lives, and that only makes it more difficult for us to manage our own stresses every single day. So I've established a self-care routine that brings me back to the moment, that allows me to decompress the week or the day, whatever it is that feels like I'm just in over my head. You have to have something or some kind of protocol to go and get yourself fixed, right? Because when we are super upset or stressed out, or we just like, there's so much going on, there's so much you have to do, that to-do list you have is never ending, and when you cross something off, you find yourself just putting another thing back on it. That's when you need self-care. Self-care is something that's super simple. It's really easy to incorporate into your everyday life, especially busy moms with kids running around driving them nuts, especially when you're just going to work every day, all day, coming home, and you just want to crash and sleep, eat and sleep. This is times, especially when you need to have a self-care routine. A lot of people ask me, how do you do this? How do you have time for it? What do you do? All these questions. So what do? I find something that brings me joy. And I find the time by either doing it really early in the morning or around 1 and 3 p.m. when I kind of have a moment of like, okay, I need to breathe and just change my pace of the day. The time can vary for you, obviously, but you want to find a time that's convenient. Maybe if you have kids, you want to do it early in the morning. So maybe setting your alarm clock 10 minutes earlier than normal, even 10 minutes. Just to get that 10-minute mark to center yourself for the day and be like, all right, this is what I have to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to tackle that to-do list, right? If you don't have kids and say you're a college student or you just work your butt off all day long and you finally get home, it's late, and all you want to do is eat and sleep. Find that time while you're cooking dinner. Say you're making a meal and there's 30 minutes on the timer. During that 30 minutes, go stretch your body or go somewhere quiet and take a couple deep breaths. Find something that brings you back to right now and that allows you to just take a deep breath. So even right now, you can take the deepest breath you've taken all day by sitting here and listening to me talk. Right now, take a huge deep breath in and a deep breath out. And make it the deepest breath you've taken all day today. Do this a couple times. By doing that, you are bringing yourself back to right here and right now. For me, I have this awesome little tiny sunroom, yoga room, and just being in it makes me happy. The lighting's awesome. I got my favorite decorations up. I got plants. It makes me happy. So find somewhere that, especially in your house or even in your car before you have to go into work or before you have to go to school, take a couple deep breaths and give yourself a good intention, right? So when you think about, oh, I have to do this day's gonna suck, I have this project due, this is happening at work, that's gonna set you up for a bad day. So instead, turn that around and make it positive, because one positive thought can lead to another, and it all is your choice. How your day goes and involves is your choice. If something really crappy happens to you, yeah, it's gonna suck for a couple minutes, but then you can turn the whole situation around and approach it in a different way. Or you can do something or say something that helps somebody else out, or you can say something nice to somebody else, and that will make you feel good. Just be nice and put a smile on your face. It's also really hard to be pissed or really sad when you force yourself to smile. It's just impossible. So smile. Even if you don't want to smile, just smile. Another really easy self-care tip is to drink water. So instead of grabbing that extra cup of coffee, make it herbal tea. Caffeine brings anxiety to our lives, and I am going to be the first one to say this. I love my coffee, but I've had to seriously get strict with when I drink it, how much I drink, and when I cut myself off. So now it's 1 cup a day, maybe 2, but it's always before 12 o'clock. If you really need that caffeine kick, get some green tea, because that has a little bit of caffeine, but not nearly as much as a cup of coffee. And that will allow you to sleep better at night, which leads me into sleep. How do I have such a good self-care routine? I sleep like a baby. I need literally probably 7 to 10 hours on average of sleep every night. And by having that good sleep, I have so much more energy the next day. I'm rested. I realize that when I get sleep like that, I don't need all that coffee. So finding little things to tweak. My huge thing is baby steps. So when you're trying to change something, you can't just go all in. I mean, that's how I do some things. If I'm quitting something, I just stop, which makes for a lot of annoying things to happen, but that's just my way of dealing with that. But when it comes to little things and incorporating new routines and setting new goals, the best thing you can do is baby steps. So start with an extra glass of water in the morning. I know I post all the time. Every morning I get a glass of room temperature water and I put a half of a lemon juice in it. Stir it up and drink that before I drink anything else in the morning. That way I already got 1 full glass of water for that day before anything else. And it's done. You checked it off your list. So one little thing. If you want to start working out more or getting more, you want to practice yoga, you want to get more exercise in your week, start small. 10 minutes. That's all it takes. 10 minutes is better than no minutes. That's all I'm saying. And start making yourself a priority, right? So recently on my Instagram, I posted something that said, make your life a priority. It's your choice. You can say that you're so busy. What if you said, that's not my priority? What? Dude, you have to make this your priority. You can want all these outcomes, but wanting things is not gonna give you things, right? So when you feel like you are in a rut, or you're like, okay, I have 20 minutes before this appointment, start doing jumping jacks. Anything that gets you into your own body and gets your heart moving will feel good. Any form of exercise feels good, and it gives you that good feeling boost to go and finish the task at hand, to go off and present yourself in front of other people, or to show up for other people in your life. If you have kids, it's very demanding. But there's always a nap time, or there's always a time when they're in bed sleeping. So just cram that 10 minutes in, and then maybe the next day it can be 15 minutes. And then maybe the day after that it can be 30 minutes. And it doesn't matter as long as you're doing something for yourself. Another great thing, if you have literally 0 time, is you're usually probably going to take a shower regardless. So extend that shower just a little bit longer than normal. And maybe add some lavender essential oils. If you're taking a bath, that is a great way to get more relaxed. And it feels great, it smells great, and it chills you out. Any form of self-care is great. You can also go out with a friend and go get your nails done if that's what you want to do. If you have that money to spend, go for it. That'll make you happy, it'll feel good and look good. If you don't have that money to spend, go for a walk with a friend. Or schedule carpooling with a friend so that you have that extra time to go do something for yourself. Even eating things to make you feel better about yourself. So I have the world's worst sweet tooth ever, right? Which is so bad. And I went from eating a bowl of ice cream every night to being like, wow, like this is not good for me. And I could tell it's not good for me. My skin was breaking out, and I just had this vicious cycle of needing sugar. Like, so addicted to sugar. And I still have that bad sweet tooth, but I don't eat that dessert at night anymore. And what I did was I changed my ice cream to a yogurt parfait, which pretty much just meant Greek yogurt with some fruit. It still has that sweetness, and it's better for you. Especially if you're that person that needs dessert every night. So just changing little things can make the huge difference that you're looking for. Rolling, like, a lot of people are like, how did you start yoga? What did you do with yoga? How do you get to your mat? How do you even show up? So showing up is the hardest part. A lot of people can't even get there. And if you're there, that's like probably 90% of how challenging it is just getting on your mat, making the time for it, making the time to work out. That is the hardest part. Once you're there, it just comes. It's easy. So what I tell some people is keep your yoga mat rolled out in the room that you find most peaceful. That'll bring you back. That's huge. And once you do that, when you see it, you'll want to go on it. When you see your running shoes, you'll maybe want to go for a walk. If you see something that just triggers that, oh, I want to go do that right now. Or that would be really nice to go do. Or maybe I slept weird, need to go stretch out. By having your mat laid out is so much better and will get you on the mat probably like 50% of the time. So just set up a little corner where you can journal, you can light a candle, you can open some windows. I always tell people to if you're a gardener or you like plants, go get your hands in soil, right? Just be proactive in something that you absolutely love and try to do that at least 4 to 5 times a week. And by doing that, even if it's that 5 or 10 minutes, that's 5 or 10 minutes towards your self-care. And when you establish that self-care, you can show up for everybody in your life the way you want to and the way that they expect you to. So there's a lot more on my website about this. I did make a self-care workbook. You can get that on my website. And that lists out all of my go-to ways. It also has a 4-week planner on how to establish your self-care routine. And it's pretty much covers all things self-care. So if you want more and you want to really establish your self-care, you can go on over to my website and get yourself a copy of that workbook. In the meantime, thanks for listening to me chat nonstop, and hopefully there will be more of these videos to come soon. Let me know if you guys have any more questions. I love to answer them, so let me know, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Thanks so much.